Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an interview style video for you guys. Last time you might remember we had Jeff in here with his GTR. Prior to that we've had a Lotus, we've had a few interesting cars in, and today we have the Type S S2000, which is a bit of a rare sight. Looking forward today to getting into details about whose car this is, why they bought it, and chatting direct with the owner, and I think they've just turned up, so let's bring him in.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to Shogun. So yes, thank you for the host, and of course S2000 Type S 2009. I purchased it, I think, about 3 weeks ago. Yes. So yeah, let me talk a little bit about the S2K. So I sold the Alfa Romeo Giulia, and then I figured I maybe need a replacement for JDM slot, so that's why I went for the S2K. I have been loving S2K for quite a while, but yeah, I had owned AP1 before, which
when
is
I first met you, right? Like
when you first met me, yes.
2020.
Yes,
back in those days.
Before even we started Shogun.
Yeah.
So I had AP1 back in the day, and also I've sold that car to Hong Kong, and ever since then I was like, oh man, I missed the open top experience. Of course, you know, the Corvette is also open top, it's Targa, but
bit of a different experience, right? American muscle,
exactly,
crazy horsepower numbers. So
exactly.
Yeah, maybe we can start like what attracted you to come back to this car, because often people buy a car and they have the experience with it and they're like, oh, I love that car. And then they move to the next car, and they
it's
don't
like girlfriends,
usually,
right?
Yeah, it's like girlfriends.
Had that experience, that
you don't usually go back,
on.
right?
Yeah,
that's it. But Type S, so you kind of went back with an upgrade.
Yeah.
But what was it that just made you go, you know what, I need another S2K?
So I think the answer is pretty obvious. So S2000 is such a great car that Honda built. It was infused by some of the Honda F1 technology back in the days, in the 90s, you know, before the 2000 era. I mean, the car is just so raw, but it's just way more power than the Miata. Before the AP1, I actually had a Miata as well, ND Miata, and I always think that car is so fun to drive, but it's just lack of power.
I heard the Miata is a fun car to drive, and I kind of get why, because it's got that go-kart style, but I could never get myself to buy it, just because I thought like, maybe it's like also a little bit of like a hairdresser's car.
Girly.
But if it's fun to drive, maybe it's worth it. But I get it, because this car, it's the same essence, but a bit more power. And it's a Honda, it's got some more flavor, I think, for, you know, the JDM guys.
That's right,
parts.
yeah. So basically, you know, driving a Honda, it just gives you the passion of driving an actual car. Like, that's what Honda was good at back in the day. Like, to be honest, it was back in the day. So I think, when I had the AP1, I just couldn't forget that car. And I mean, after I sold it, I just couldn't forget that car. And then I was like, man, I wish one day I just had the money. Maybe I'll buy the AP2, or maybe I'll even go for the Type S, which is the ultimate version of the S2000.
Remember, once you sold the car, you were kind of happy initially, but I feel like after a while you realized, maybe once it was gone, what it was, like how much you enjoyed it and stuff like that. I remember one day we went to get toast, if you remember.
Toast?
Like, I think it was back in 2020, and it had just become autumn, so the weather was finally starting to get good. And we went to get toast together at that time, and you took the S2K out, and then it was like first day with the roof down after winter. And I was kind of looking at the S2K as like, oh damn, that's like an all-season type of car, because you can enjoy summer more than regular cars having the top down. But you can still go hard top and all this stuff, and it seems like it was a really good fit. So yeah, it makes sense now why you wanted to get it again, because after that time you would always kind of reference it sometimes, like just felt good. And
back in the day,
in the day, so
especially every summer, I mean, even the summer was pretty enjoyable having the S2000, because, you know, you can have the top down, you can have full blast on the AC, so, you know, you can still enjoy the summer with the top down on the S2K, of course, not to mention the autumn and the spring. It's amazing having a top down car in Japan, you know, all the roads, toge, they were paved, you know, perfectly. So the condition was very good having an S2K, driving that car in the mountain B roads, man. It was like,
it just feels good.
And then I kept looking at pictures, and you know, back in the day I had a JDM AP1, 9,000 RPM, just blasting through the toll gate, and then I was like, man, I wish one day I just, get an upgrade. But honestly, if you ask me, compare the AP2 or the Type S to an AP1, I honestly think that AP1
got its own charm in some ways, right?
Yes,
with the rev
yes.
limit.
Not to mention the engine. So the F20C engine, it was the red line was 9,000 RPM. That was one good selling point. Also, that's like the key to give you the passion that we just mentioned.
That's that VTEC experience right
excitement.
At the end. You got a few extra few extra 100 revs.
Yeah. But of course, AP2 is more refined because it was built later in after 2004. So the car was way different. The chassis feels way more solid than the AP1. Gearbox as well. So yeah.
And the steering feel is a bit more refined, a bit more premium.
More refined as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The downside is it's just less raw comparing to the AP1. Yeah.
Which is good and bad, I guess, depending on the person.
Yeah.
I remember after you got the AP1 and then you sold it, I was pretty interested in S2K, and then we drove Albos that time.
Yeah.
And then it kind of clicked for me in the toge. I was like, this is the kind of car that it doesn't have a super high limit power, whatever, but that means when you go and drive in the toge, you can actually go like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. You're not going 300 Ks out of control. You're actually doing the go-kart feel to its maximum.
Yeah, that's right. That's like, if you ask me, do I enjoy driving the S2K or do I enjoy driving the Corvette? Or maybe even in the future, maybe a Porsche GT3 or GT3 RS. I honestly think if you're driving on normal roads, having an S2K is just a perfect fit, because imagine if you're driving a 500 horsepower car in the toll gate.
You have to get pretty illegal to get it to the limit, right?
And then you're talking about a over 100 grand car. Like if you crash it, then you're done, basically.
So that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Line, right?
So so that's why I think that we can enjoy the S2000 way more than having an expensive car that you can have to drive on the toll gate. So
So I wanted to ask, having been in Japan for a while, I kind of feel like there's something special about having a JDM car when you're in Japan. You feel really connected to just the culture that's here. And I think when you sold the S2K, and I don't have a JDM myself right now, I kind of feel like a little bit of a gap in there. And then maybe the fit kind of allowed you to have a bit of that experience back again. How do you feel about that whole, having a JDM in Japan? What's that experience like? And now you've obviously got a car that's pretty desirable to have that tuning and...
Honestly, I think it's perfect because S2000, talking about the aftermarket support and talking about the fun, how you can enjoy driving that car, I think it's just, as I say, it's the perfect fit because let's talk about the aftermarket support part first. So, we can get all sorts of, let's say, body reinforcements parts, let's say sway bars, suspension.
Right. Direct to the shops that
direct to the shop.
Go and take it to XYZ and then they'll do their,
Yeah, and also not to mention the used parts market is very, very active in Japan because, you all know about Yahoo Auction, right? So you can buy, let's say, a set of Olin's DFV for the S2K for, I don't know, maybe Juman, Juniman, and then...
It's like $1,000.
Yeah, so and then exhaust, headers, everything just cheap for S2000. But if you're talking about owning a Porsche or owning even the Giulia or the Corvette in Japan, if you are petrol heads, you wanted to modify your car, it's way too expensive to do that in Japan. And that's the advantage of having a JDM car in Japan. And of course, now that we have a JDM car, we finally feel that we kind of blending into the Japan,
maximize the opportunity with all of these cars and as you say, the culture. I think now I see you're starting to have some fun with this car because obviously we did the Sanjuman challenge, right? $3,000 car challenge with our cold hatches, not necessarily hot hatch.
Slow hatch.
The slow
cold
hatch.
hatch.
It was pretty fun. But as I was building the car, not that I built it too much, but obviously you put a lot of parts on yours. We did some stuff to get the cars ready, and it was fun because we had a lot of access to parts on Yahoo Auction.
And all the suppliers as well.
And all the suppliers, But I didn't feel like I was building a car that I'm going to keep for 5-10 years. It was for the purpose of that video, which was a super fun video. But now this car, how how do you see it in the future? Like, is it going to be something that you keep for a long time? Is it something you want to just like build and get your satisfaction and then get something else?
That's a really good question. So I did message you about, should I keep this car or not? And then I did think about it myself as well, because I bought this car at the auction. So it was purchased at a really, really good price. And I was searching through, if you guys know about Car Sensor, which is like the auto trader of, Japan. So I was searching through Car Sensor, finding a similar condition, S2000 Type S in yellow, in the Type S interior. There were none, like just none. Like none of the Type S are yellow, none of the Type S are, even if they're yellow, they don't even have the Type S interior. So yeah, like that, I saw another one that came up without the Type S interior, without, it's not even stock. The wheels was Avant Racing RGD2. So that one was selling over 1 million yen of my purchase price. I can basically, and also not to mention the car is actually 20,000 kilometers more than my car. So my car currently is at 51,000 kilometers, really, really new. And yeah, I can basically just sell this car in the market and make 10 grand right away. But I thought about it, I don't want to miss out again. If I sell this car, it's really hard to find another S2K in this condition, especially a Type S.
Yeah,
so,
and also you mentioned the Type S interior, which is kind of a key feature of this car.
Yeah, because most of the parts they have discontinued already, and like let's say the door cards, seat covers as well, the yellow trim. So value goes up again. So yeah,
having it all there in the car, it's the best scenario basically. Yeah,
exactly. So
and one thing I'll just highlight, because I didn't really know this until the car came in, was that the Type S interior, of course it's got the suede and stuff in it, but it only came with the yellow accents, right? Yellow stitching, yellow design in the middle. Yeah, so originally, like I saw you looking to get like an S2K and a few different colors and stuff. And I didn't realize that only the Type S had that. And then the fact that the car's yellow with the interior yellow, I feel like that's the sweet spot for the Type S.
Perfect contrast, right? With the black and yellow interior Alcantara.
Blends the body and the interior in together. Because some people are a bit hesitant to get a yellow car, right? Yeah. Because it's pretty eye-catching. Outstanding, yeah. But I think when it comes to the Type S, it's not just that appeal factor. It's the fact that the whole model kind of blends in well with that yellow.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's why I spend a lot of time researching and also trying to find a perfect Type S for myself. So here we are, we got the Type S, and yeah, in the future,
got some plans for things. So maybe, let's talk about the future then. Like, what kind of things is on the table for this car? Like, are you gonna full send the build? Is it going to look like Albo's car with a whole bunch of parts on? Or are you going to like go OEM Plus or somewhere in the middle?
Back in the day when I purchased the AP1, I had I think back in the, back in the day.
That's a good point. Back in the day, you had the first yellow AP1, not Albo.
Yes.
And now everyone's kind of like, hey, you're copying Albo. But technically, there's a backstory.
Yeah, so Adam came by the other day, right? Before the barbecue, he saw my car. He was like, oh, is that Albo? I was like, nah, man, come on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably not many people knows that I actually purchased the yellow AP1 before Albo did. One day...
He asked you to test it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that period, he crashed, or someone crashed into his Miata, also yellow Miata. So I knew about that, and then I had the AP1 back then, and then it was just the first week of the purchase, and then I was like, oh shit, yo, Albo, you should come over to C1. I'm at C1, come over and test drive my car. So he did about 10 laps in the C1, on the C1 with the S2K.
10 laps?
10 laps, yes.
Wow.
So it took him about like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the car. I was like, man.
After the second lap, you're like...
Yeah, I want to go home, man. So he really in love with that car, and then, about a week later, about a week later, he got the AP1 as well. Also the same year, 1999, AP1, that's why we became the S2K Bros.
Even his suspension, I think you originally flagged you wanted to run Öhlins, right?
Öhlins DFVs, because I know they are really high quality manufacturer.
It's a high grade feel, I think, that suspension, that premium dampening.
And also the RSG as well. I wanted to put on all those mods, but back in the day my AP1 was bone stock, so is my AP2 Type S basically. And I was debating myself, should I go for the mod or should I just keep it bone stock? Because there are two
philosophies, right?
Owners, yes.
That's it.
One type, people want to go, all out and put on all the mods. And one type of people, they just appreciate how the car as it is.
Yeah. And like even a friend of mine right now, he's got a car with a few mods on it and he's demodding it back to stock.
Yeah.
Because that's even another process. Instead of modding forwards, you mod backwards and take it back.
Bolt-ons, right?
Take the bolt-ons off. Yeah.
That's one key point. If you guys are planning to, modify your car, best to keep all the parts in the garage or the shed because then you can go back, you can reverse mod it. So if you want to try to sell it, resell it, you can have all the mods.
That's it. That's something I was trying to be really clear. I guess you guys saw in the RX-7 video.
RX-7 as well.
Because as this is a Type S, like the RX-7 was a Bathurst Type R. So
also that one was really low mileage as well.
Yeah. Something you want to be really like protective of. So everything, like right now the stock wheels are over there wrapped up in plastic bags, and keep all that stuff for the future. Or even just if you want one day, I want to run it stock or put some OEM back in.
Yeah, I agree. So talking about the modifications, so I've purchased the T37 SL in white. You guys will probably see it in the next couple videos. And also Öhlins DFV as well. And then it was mounted with iBox 14K front and back springs. And what else? Jace Racing exhaust as well.
Oh yeah,
just like my
Spirit of the Fit.
Yeah, everything is used. Everything is just like, I'm trying to test out the mods and see, would it fit, would it blend in, would it enhance the experience of driving, of the driving experience. So that's why for the AP, I kept the AP1 in bone stock. That's why I kind of want to, modify a little bit for the AP2, on the AP2. And that's the current plan for the modification list. Yeah.
Nice. So you're kind of going to add some custom stuff in, but have like a bit of a limit, right, on how much you do.
No over fenders, no like...
it's got a wing on it already, doesn't need to change.
So basically everything's bolt-ons. I just want to keep everything that I can go on reverse whenever I wanted to sell the car. So
you're basically just doing the legs. You've got suspension down to the wheels.
So everything I did was trying to enhance the driving feel because S2000 is such a driver's car. As your S2000 owners know, it's a really good car to drive, and that's why I wanted to enhance.
Right?
Just enhance, make it like maybe right now it's an 8 out of 10 driving experience. I wanted to make it a 9 or like a 9.5 in the future, so
that sounds good. So I guess you've got these parts in mind to put onto the car as what you're planning to do to it in the future. What's kind of places that you plan to drive this car in the future? Like obviously we have a drive coming up for Hakone soon, which we're going to film, you guys will see probably after this. With a top down or with this kind of car that feels like that, the things that come to my mind is like toge or like beautiful views where the top's down. So is there something in your mind that you think like, this kind of car, like say with the Giulia or the Corvette, places you haven't gone because it doesn't match, say this would match?
In terms of driving roads, I think anywhere, man. Driving the S2000 anywhere is fun. Anywhere is like enjoyable. So no matter on the highway with the top down, no matter on the B roads, toge with the top down, I would enjoy it 100%.
Are you gonna like run this car on the toge a bit, like test out like how the suspension feels, tune it a bit, like dampening or something? In
the future. So maybe if the boys from Raven Racing, they making, if they're going to make it, host another track days, of course I would bring the Type S in and then try to do a better lap time than the Fit and enjoy a little bit more. Yeah.
If not, I think there's a problem.
There would be a problem, yeah. If not, I'll let Jake drive it, that's it. Yeah.
Right, yeah, give us some justice.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna handle it really well.
Yeah.
And obviously when we did the times in this car, I think we did 55s, right?
Yeah,
in this
55.3 and then 55.6 or something on the Colt. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Very
so
similar.
This car, I wonder what it is capable of, how many seconds quicker in Mulbara. Oh, you've run it before in the AP1 actually.
On the AP1, yeah.
Yeah.
So for the AP1, it was the first time I went to Mulbara. I did a 55.3 as well, of 0.6.
But bone stock.
Yeah, bone stock. It was not, it was equipped with the original tire from back in the day, from, 1999. It was crazy.
Yeah.
No grip at all, so.
Sean ran it too, right?
Sean ran it too, yeah.
What time was he getting in that?
54.6 or something.
Okay.
So about 0.7, 0.8 faster than me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
But of course, it's a small track. I think even for pro driver like you and Sean, there's so low limits. I think, yeah, not many
how much
room.
Gap you can make. But I guess that's a good target for this car, right?
Yeah.
Crack into the 54s, even beyond.
Under 54, 53 with the correct mods, I think we can do it.
Cool. I'm looking forward to the track days of the future then.
Yeah.
It'll be kind of like the stage 2 almost, right?
Yeah.
We've gone stage 1 with our cold hatch.
Cold hatch,
yeah.
yeah.
So hopefully I have something to join you with on that day.
I know you will, man. I know you will. I know you will. In the next year,
We'll see.
Looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, looking
honestly.
forward to it.
Yeah.
So great to see the car in the shop. Anything else you want to add about the S2K?
I mean, for all the S2K lovers in the market and or all the drivers, owners of the S2K, enjoy driving the car, man. Don't sell it. Honestly, just keep it and then pass it to your son or nephew or whatever. Enjoy the car. That's the key.
It is a bit of a gem, I think, in of course for Honda, because nowadays they're just not making as many sports cars.
Yeah.
But even in general, it's in the era where the feel is a bit more mechanical and raw. Just before it got too electronic, it's in the sweet spot of so many things.
Exactly.
That even I, before we got this car, was thinking I think I want to get a sports car, and there's not much I could say that would satisfy me as a car enthusiast driver.
For more
as
than
an
cars,
S2K.
right? Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, I'm happy there's one in the shop because maybe sometimes I can, take you for a spin.
Jealous a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So cool, man. Nice to chat on the car and look forward to the future.
Thank you for hosting the interview, and keep enjoying the S2K, man.
More to come.
Yeah. That's it for the video. Hope you guys liked it. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment down below.